What's
80%.
the craziest thing a lady has done?
Mugged me. Uh, no, there's a time I was walking in CBD and I was in my AirPods because she realized that I couldn't hear her. Literally trailed me, ran, and then from the back, just grabbed me. So you can imagine my fear of just knowing this is it. My love. I've been sleeping with my door open every night just so you'd steal my heart. I intentionally get lost in your eyes just so you'd find me. I've been leading us at a crossroads just so I could hold your hand and feel legendary. I want to love you in all shades of black and white, then make you the blue to my sky so that when I look up to you, I smile. I've been writing love poems hoping you jump out of these pages and hug me. I want to hold you in ways that tell you I love you, kiss you in ways that tell you I'm here for you. I want to give the world to you, then fly you to the moon just for the views. See you make me feel high when I'm with you, so why not reach the stars for you? So my love, for this love we share, I hope it never stops to bear. I hope I never get used to your glazing stare. I hope we look like each other, so they call us a pair, my twin. Thank you.
Oof! We are ready for Valentine's.
You're ready for Valentine's?
I am
Fantastic.
ready.
I've
I'm
ushered you
ready.
in. I've ushered you in.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
I think I don't need to introduce you any further. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Georgina Njogu, and welcome to today's episode of Real Life Stories. I am not going to introduce my guests. We shall just get into it because I'm so sure by now, ladies, they're gone and they don't want to hear me anymore.
Yes.
That's introduction enough. So, Maina,
Yes.
how are you doing?
I am good. I'm so happy to be here.
Nice to be with you. Nice to sit with you.
Nice to sit with you
meet you again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
It's been a while.
It's
I
been
think the
years.
last time we saw each other, I was promoting my third live poetry show.
I actually think it's the first one.
It was the first one. It was the
Yes,
first
it
one.
was the
Oh my
first
goodness,
one.
it was the first one.
Then I disappeared.
That was back in 2020, what, 2 or 1?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We have kept in touch.
Yes, we have.
So we are here.
So tell me, who is MAINA Mind?
MAINA Mind is many things. A creative in general by day. I am in media and the strategy
Yes.
space. By night, I am overthinking and writing poetry and turning ideas into execution and into projects.
Yes.
So I'm a creative all-round, an actor, a poet, a brand storyteller, and yeah, I love what I do.
Maina, let's talk about your background before Kevin Maina, before he became MAINA Mind.
Yeah.
The growing up to become who you are right now.
Okay. Born and bred in Nakuru, raised by a beautiful woman. She was a single parent. So a lot of my childhood was actually bouncing a lot from home to home.
Okay.
At times I'd stay with my mom, at times I'd stay with my grandmother. But what was very profound to me is that I was raised with a lot of women. A lot of women were always around me.
Yes.
And when I think about even why I am the way I am in terms of in tune with the emotions, vulnerability, it stems from that. I was surrounded with powerful women. And then my biological mom passed on when I was 9 years old. I know, it's all right. And then later on, met my dad, found my dad, built a relationship with him.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
didn't know him before?
No, I didn't know him before.
How did you look for him?
Oh man, it's an interesting story. My dad and my auntie to my mom's sister were working in the same company, and it just so happened that they met there, and it was such a coincidence. They met there, and suddenly my auntie's like, I know where your dad is. Would you like to meet him?
Yeah.
And we met, and from then we just built this relationship that was just awaiting to be triggered. And ever since then, I've met different sides of my family and been introduced to different people in my life. The beautiful thing about even the grief is such that you also have so many moms.
Yeah.
You know, everyone is sort of like a parent to you, and you can tap into everyone's mind because they sort of there are many stakeholders in my life.
Yeah.
So school, went to Naivasha Boys Boarding Primary School. That's shortly after my mom had passed on.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I graduated from primary, headed to Aga Khan High School, Nairobi, and then Kenyatta University. And I think KU, or that period between Aga Khan and KU, is when I started really questioning and started asking myself what it is that I want to do.
Yeah.
I always knew I was a creative. So when I was younger, every birthday photo that I have from when I was sort of 7 and below, I'm on a table or on top of a seat dancing.
Yeah.
And I used to love the idea of making people happy. Like knowing that I can get into a room and do something that will make people happy, clap, or just feel good.
Yeah.
And I used to come, jump on the table, put some Mr. Nice songs, you know, Kuku Kapanda Baiskeli, do my dombolo, and then disappear.
Yeah.
So even when I grew up, whether it was in school, either journalism club, drama, debate club, I loved the idea of thinking of something and then executing it and creating and packaging how I'm going to tell you, how I'm going to spread this idea. And I think now getting into campus is where I honed it completely.
Yeah. And
before even MAINA MIND, I started creating funny skits. They were going nowhere, but I enjoyed them all the same. Until one time, poetry was something I used to write. I never used to share, I used to write it.
Yeah.
So one day I decided, let me record some videos as video journals for myself. So I would record them, put them for myself in my drive, in my drive, and then just go to sleep. One time I decided, let me take this video, add some music, and share it. It was about rejection. I went to sleep. The next day I woke up and my Instagram and social media were just going crazy. Like everyone was like, this is so profound. And so I took everything that I'd been storing in my drive and started sharing it.
Publishing it.
Yes. And that's how MAINA MIND was born.
I want to take you back just a little bit, and it will be a very personal question.
Yeah.
You're free to answer, and if you're not comfortable, please don't answer.
Okay.
You met your dad when you were a bit older.
Yeah.
Did you struggle creating a relationship? Did you hold any grudges against him?
Yeah.
And how did you overcome all that?
I struggled, yes, at the beginning, only because I was trying to understand, because it was a different world, you know, it's a different human being. It's like someone you know you came from, but you don't know how to interact with, you know. But in terms of grudges, to be honest, I didn't. There's, I don't know where in the Bible, it's a Bible verse I've always held on to. Don't try to understand what's not revealed to you. So there are questions I never ask from the past. This is where life has brought me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but when I met him, I was what? I think 12, 13. But I knew that so profound. I was like, I do not care what happened. You are here now.
Yeah.
Let's form a relationship. And so it took a while, because you're also trying to learn someone. You're also trying, mind you, I'm also growing. It's different when you meet someone when you're an adult. When you're growing, you're also learning about yourself. So you're also susceptible to influence, because you're picking from everyone who is there to take care of you.
Okay.
So it wasn't anything about holding grudges. It was more of trying to be comfortable around the situation and convincing my mind that this can work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that means currently, whatever you found then with your dad, means you found a blended family.
Yes.
It has to be a blended family.
Yes.
Was it hard adjusting to the new siblings, the new mom?
No, to be honest, this is interesting. I think either blessed, God's favor.
Yes.
But even that question alone is sort of like, what do you mean new mom? Like, these are the people I've known, because it's so natural. Like, we exist as one unit. There's no pretense of like, you know, we don't know what happened or whatnot. Everyone knows the situation, but I've been blessed to have such a beautiful family. And notice in everywhere I've been, whether it's staying with my auntie at this point, staying with this uncle, staying with that auntie, I've always found myself in blended situations. It has definitely given me a skill of like fitting in or adapting to situations.
Yeah.
But you can imagine the journey of this child who has grown up in very many situations. The one thing he ever prayed for was to just be somewhere where he belongs.
You belong.
So immediately that relationship was formed with my dad. It was
found your
everything.
place.
Yeah, and thank God the people he had brought into his life were just as welcoming as him.
Yeah. Let's talk about grief.
Grief, yeah.
I also don't want you to rush through it.
Yeah.
How have you maneuvered that? Because I know it doesn't stop.
Yes.
And doesn't end.
Yes.
How have you managed to be who you are right now without it bringing you down? Yes.
Yeah. So that's another fantastic question. Grief to me was interesting. When I lost my mom, my biological mom, I was 9 years old, right? So this is the person I know throughout my whole world.
Yeah.
The sad thing about this is that I watched her deteriorate. So she was sick, very sickly. Like it was so bad, she sold everything. So everything that we had, we moved to our cousin's place. And then my mom, which is a character trait that I know I have but don't appreciate, is she used to keep to herself. So the nature of her was that she wouldn't say. If she's going through something, she will not speak. So by the time even her siblings, her mother, they were finding out she's sick, it was bad. It was bad. So as a young child, I watched her and I used to wonder why isn't she going to hospital? I didn't know she couldn't afford. So she was just in bed all day. And the one day where they came and picked her, because it was really bad, and an ambulance came and picked her. And I remember celebrating, and I was like, that's what we should have done. Just take her to the hospital, only to realize that that was the last time I was ever going to see her, because after she went, she never came back. So for me, immediately that happened, I don't know, but I felt there was sort of like shame. So I never wanted anyone to know. I used to realize things that kids used to do. They would sort of whisper. They would be like, "Hey, able to cheze na Kevin. Unajua mama yake alikufa." So everything, and I could see the people around me, the family, everyone is being nice to me because. So it became something that I was almost embarrassed about. So every school I went, when I went to Naivasha boarding, no one knew about the passing of my mom. I hid it for so long. I lied to myself for so long about it that it became my truth. Now what happened is that I never processed that situation. And so one time when I was in high school, actually I was in campus, I had a dream about my biological mom. And when I dreamt about her, I could not remember her face. Like I was dreaming about her, but I can't see her face, so I can't remember her face. And I remember immediately waking up and really trying. So I'm awake, but I still cannot remember her face.
You're struggling.
Yeah, I can't, because that's a part of me that I decided to bury. So I wanted people to see me like I am whole without this side of me, of the loss and everything. I don't want you to be oye. I just want to show up as a whole person. And I hid it, and it became my truth. So I'm waking up and I can't remember this human being's face, and they're my mother. So I remember texting my auntie and I was like, "Do you have any picture? Just any picture that you have of your sister, send it to me." And she did, and I saw the pictures, and I was like, it was like a panic attack. So I remember that time deciding that in everything I do, in fact, that's the first live show I wrote.
Yes.
The first poem I ever wrote for that first live show was about my mom. It's a poem called Faded. It's about losing someone twice, physically and then from your memory.
Yes.
So I wrote that piece and I promised myself in every live event I have, I will perform it. It will be my closing poem. And at the beginning, I was struggling to write about her from, I guess, also in a way, I was mad at her for just leaving. And somehow not caring for herself. Of course, as a child, that's the mentality I used to see. Like, if you're going through something, do something about it, But as an adult, you understand life is complex and all that. So slowly now I started processing. I got into therapy. I remember writing that poem for the first time and just crying. I was in the office, and it was like at 5 p.m. I've closed my laptop, and then I just started writing this poem called Faded, and I cried for like 2 hours. Just unleashing all that. And I told myself everywhere I go, because I was her only child. So everywhere I go, I will let her spirit live on. So in every one of my shows,
You
the
have to.
finishing poem is always Faded, or another one that I wrote, I've forgotten the name, but they're about her. They're sort of saying, this is the woman that brought me here. This is the woman, in many ways I am the way I am because of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite something.
Yeah.
In campus, what did you study?
In campus, I did communication and media.
Okay.
Communication and media.
And you're practicing it right now?
Yes, so communication and media, and then I got a gig when I was in third year into a media house. Your competitors, actually.
Yeah.
But I left last year.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, I did
I
leave.
still thought you...
No, I left.
You decided to focus?
Yeah, I was like, I think I've served year enough. I was there since I was third year. From my third year, that was like in 2020, all the way to now, or rather 2025. So 2025, I cleaned my hands. I said I'm good. So completely pivoted to focus on my brand, which had grown immensely, but also now pivoted into strategy. So now I'm a creative strategist for an international agency.
How was your time at the media house?
Time at the media house was profound. It was a profound period of learning. So at the beginning, of course, the excitement of, I used to see those twin towers and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is where this is where I want to be. And I remember getting in there and just the young thrill of like, we're going to do something. And we did a lot of things. Podcasting was not a thing by the time I was joining. It's something that I pitched to them. We got into it. We did a lot of things around that. But I think by the time I was leaving, I started feeling like there were things that were not happening at the pace that I desired for them to happen. And that happens for many reasons. Change in leadership, strategy as well. Strategy is also very important. But it got to a point where I was just saying, I can't wait for you guys to get there. If you're not there yet, let me leave and give these services elsewhere. In fact, by the time I was leaving, I felt like I was holding that position for someone else who probably needed it, because I didn't feel like I was giving any value. And I was feeling like I was robbing the company, because I just come, figure out what I'm doing. There's really no accountability of someone following and sort of saying, these are the goals we planned, these are what we achieved. So I felt like I don't want that to suck my soul out of it, because I need to be in spaces where we are working, we are thinking. That's how I treat my brand. We are always working on something.
Do you think you'll ever go back to media?
I think, I think when I signed off and when I was telling my colleagues, I was like, it's just a pause for now. It's looking for something different, and it's important. I always tell people it's important for growth. The first place where you're employed shouldn't be the place you also retire at.
For sure.
It's good for you to grow mentally, pocket-wise, because where you go, you negotiate for more. But also experiences. So 100%, if an opportunity comes through, that is something that it was my first love.
The first poem was Rejection, the one you posted.
Yes.
Was it based on a true story?
Yes, it was. When I started out, a lot of my pieces were based on true stories because I was sharing my experiences. It was that's what made it authentic. But as you grow, where you get into a place now where you have more than 160,000 followers on Instagram, more than 200,000 on TikTok, people start sharing their experiences. And by the time you have shared over 1,000 content pieces, you have to now take a break so that you can allow yourself to gain more experiences to share. Because whatever I have not talked about on my spaces is because I've just decided not to talk about it. Otherwise, I've exhausted everything that I can talk about, that I think about, that I've read about. So sometimes I even take breaks. I go back, read more, research more. And what happens is that now people start telling you, could you share a piece about this? Could you share a piece about parenthood? A lot of my audiences now, they're moving into parenthood. A lot of them are moving into relationship, marriages. These are people that when I was in campus, they're also in campus. Now they're graduating, and that's how I've been trying to evolve. So I'm also now researching. I'm not a parent yet, but there's something I can learn from them. But also what started happening is people would email me. I have a wedding coming up. Could you please write my vows? I have a birthday coming up. I have a birthday coming up. Could you draft me a speech for this and that? And it was also another way of sort of like branching out in business and sort of figuring out this is a service we can offer people. And so that has helped me inform a lot of what I now share. So yes, there's definitely an element of me in everything that I share.
Yeah.
But now it's more graduated to how can I serve the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to rate my wedding vows, how much would you like charge me? Maybe an estimation.
It's on our rate card, but between $100, between $100 and $500. So between there, it varies because it's also very contextualized. So what are you going through? What's the situation? And this is a rate card package for literally everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about from around 10 Gs to 50.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've consumed your content all this while, but
Yeah.
I've never thought about it.
People, by the way, know what to say. It's
They
just the
just
how.
don't know how to put
It's
it
just the how. Yeah. So a lot of times, what I do is not. I don't replace your voice.
Okay.
We'll look at your story. You'll tell me how you guys met. Everyone wants to put that on their vows, but how do you make it poetic? How do you make it memorable? So that's my job. I just come and make it memorable for you.
Okay.
And that's how even I was doing this thing where I was writing poems based on names. So I'd be like Njoki, and then that's how it started. Because I was like, okay, it was to meet a girl. Sometimes I meet people who just tell me about their stories on my DMs, and I look at their name, and I'm like, oh, your name is Njeri. Let me write a poem about Njeri based on these characteristics that you're offering me about yourself.
Okay, so you've written poems, you've started posting. Let's talk about the moment you decided that, okay, now I'm going to do my first live show. When did you decide that? How did you plan around it? Because I loved it.
Yeah.
Personally, I loved it.
Yeah.
The rest, I've seen snippets online
yeah.
once you post, and they also look very poetic.
Yes.
So tell us about the journey of you going now live on stage.
Yes. I would say this, credit to where it's due. I only was able to get myself up to that point. Like, by myself, the poetry, the posting, that was all me. And then it got to a point where I started now interacting. People, when you attract people who see a vision for you. So that seed was first born when I attended. I think it was Mkurugenzi's second live show. And I was sat next to a friend of mine called Salimo. And we watched, in fact, she had invited me for that live event. And I remember leaving, I just whispered, like, man, I think in 2030, literally I remember saying, like, my vision 2030 would be to do something like this. And she just looked at me and she was like, let's do it. Let's do it. Like, let's do it this year. And I was like, okay. And immediately she was like, we'll call this person, we'll call these people, we'll get this space, we'll start small, even though we get 20 people, So that, to be honest, that was just all, I think 90% of me even having the guts to do it was her. She just said, I'll take care of everything, you just write the content. But other logistics, producing it, she did it. And we literally, I attended that first live show, I think it was in February or January.
Yes.
And we put out a pay bill and we were like targeting 50 max. In fact, the venue could only host 50 people. And then we ended up selling 150 tickets. It was the first time the venue even added seats. They had to buy more seats to accommodate. And so from there it started. The second live show was 250. The third was 300. The fourth was 350. The fourth was about 500, and then our fifth one was last year. Was also about 500. So yeah, I think they've just grown and grown, and with it we have learned a lot more lessons, built a solid team around it. And the idea of it is always to interact with the people who support you online. So every time when we're about to close the year, we do something.
So once you did the first live show, and like the others, maybe, I think the last two, even the last one, you had sponsors, brands on board, right?
Yes.
The first one, did you have any brand?
No.
How did you manage that? Like the funding, did the tickets return the money that you used?
Yeah. So every live experience that I've held, apart from, again, the last one. In fact, the last one was the only one that, I would say also the one previously, we had a sponsor, a startup sponsor, Luku. But really, all of them majorly have been self-funded. So the tickets do count. So my policy in spending is that from those live shows was that we are not spending more than we are selling. So if our target is to sell 350, our budget has to be within that.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens is from every live show, we pour that money into the next. So from the first live show, I remember, for example, spending, I think I spent 90,000 on that first live show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then we sold 150 tickets. So I got my 90,000 back. The rest of the money, I just put it in our account. That money was poured into the second live show. We had 250 people. I think our budget for that second live show was 150. So, and that's how it kept on multiplying. The last one is when we had like two proper major sponsors, and that one, you know, the team ate good. The team ate good. I think it was the first time I've also paid myself properly. To be honest, fruits of what we had been doing. Because by the time sponsors were now coming, they were sort of like, oh my gosh, I know you've been doing this for a while. Please involve us. Please involve us. And then we had so many, apart from the big sponsors that we had, we also so many vendors. So many vendors. So yeah, that one was a success financially.
For you to do this all through the years, the few years you have been doing it, how do you maintain the authenticity, the audience without losing them? Because at some point, content creators, they tend to lose their audience up or in between, especially when they start involving brands.
Yeah.
I think it has happened severally, and I've observed. How do you maintain the authenticity?
I think there has been moments, by the way, where I've experienced like, wow, there was a time I think I was creating too much brand work, and I was just like, hey, I think we need to also activate an editorial mind, because what happens with a lot of brand gigs is that it draws you away from your type of content. So the first thing I started doing was to merge. So I would tell brands, we can still, the best way to make your product humane is through poetry. So we do not have to hard sell your product. I'll do a poem for your product. Simple as that. So that was the first step. So integrate what I'm selling into what I am doing rather than changing it completely. So I'll do like one reel that is poetic, and then maybe the other one will be experimental for also our growth and creativity. But what I started doing was also, you don't need 100 brands. I think that's one thing creators miss. Last year alone, I worked with, I think, I was doing my report, and I think I worked with only 5 brands.
Really?
Yeah, and 3 of those brands were brands that I worked with in 2024. So what my strategy has been, get a brand, they feed me for the first or the first 2 quarters or the first quarter. So you're working long-term basis. So literally there's a brand I've worked with for 2 years now. So you don't need, I think creators always think that you need 100 brands. You just need good negotiation skills so that you're also getting money that can feed you. And then brands that are also affiliate, or rather they're well positioned with what you're trying to achieve. And then now the other thing in terms of not losing your audience is also trying to evolve, but also creating content that is timeless. To be honest, a lot of what I shared last year in regards to poetry content, most of them were reposts. It was things I'd shared in 2024. I could reshare again. And that's another thing about with creatives. You can always remix your content. You don't need to always come up with a new idea or anything, because your audience is also going through seasons. There's a time I used to talk about heartbreak before I got into heartbreak. There's a time I used to talk about love before I got into love. So your audience is like that. There are people who, they might see a content that does not relate to them now, but they will look for it at the end of the year. So remix your content, repost it. It's timeless, it's good. It will still land.
Talk about last year, 2025, that is. It was really huge for you.
Yes.
Apart from the album, you did a lot of influencer gigs that took you out of the country.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's start with not the album, let's talk about the influencer gigs. How are they? How you landed? What's the biggest one so far? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I did, again, not many brands, just few 4 or 5 solid brands that held me through my year. And one thing about me is that I love strategy. I love creating proposals. I love looking at what a brand is trying to do and offering value beyond the campaign. So if you tell me you want me to do this for 2 months, I'll look at it and say, what if we extend that for the next? Because I know even those brands are still figuring out their positioning. And some of these brands that I was working with are international. So they barely have a footing here. They're trying to understand this market.
Yeah.
So a lot of my way of doing it was how can I help a brand tell its story here culturally, you know? So yeah, went to South Africa a couple of times. Was in Nigeria for this Culture in Motion campaign. Nigeria is known for Afrobeats and all that.
Yeah.
So I was there to literally document it, capture the whole 5-day experience, and package it into a poetry sort of video. And it was such a successful campaign. I've seen it has been duplicated in many other areas by some of these same brands. And that was something that, you know, we just talked about and suggested. We were like, okay, instead of recapping this whole experience with a normal visual music video, why don't we do a poem and tell the story of this city, Lagos, culturally, you know? So for me, it's always thinking beyond what I can do. Thinking like, where's the gap? How can I offer this solution? How can I pitch more? And even a lot of what I'll be doing this year in regards to brand, and it's things I proposed last year.
Yeah.
So it's also, I think the idea of strategy has always been very appealing to me, knowing that I can see something, think of an idea, and turn it into a project, and then execute. It's literally creating. It's one of the best gifts that God gave us, co-creating. So yeah, that was it was a remarkable year. One of my favorites, of course, were the few videos that I worked on towards the end of the year. And if you look at every piece that I've done that has been brand storytelling, it's been very culturally centered. So I'll do a video with a character who's talking like a gengeton artist. You know what I mean? Very intentional to really make that brand relatable. So yeah.
Not 2024 or 2023, I'm not certain.
Okay.
You also started your acting journey.
Yes.
How did you end up on Single Kiasi?
Single Kiasi came about through MAINA MIND. So the spoken word pieces that I've been doing online, I've always loved acting. So before I even start the videos online, my idea was, part of why I started actually with the cinematic aspect of it, was because I wanted to show off also my acting skills here. Spoken word is a lot of acting, right? It's beautiful, genuine, but the idea of capturing emotions right here is an art. So I was like, I've been to so many auditions. No one is giving me a gig. I used to be one of those kids who used to just queue at Kenyan National Theatre because, you know, these shows are casting and you'll have like 400 people there. So I said, let me create my own platform. And one of the producers at Insignia is the company that, or the production house that films for Single Kiasi. The producer just saw my content and she was like, oh my gosh, we've been trying to cast for this particular character. And there's something about what you do. Could you read for us some lines? You don't even have to come physically for an audition. Just set up your camera, read for us some lines, send them to us. I remember doing that on a Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon, I was signing my contract. So it was, it was literally from what I'd been doing online. And mind you, this is someone who had gone for over 50 auditions and gotten none. But I always knew I had a gift. It was just sometimes the environment of an audition can be very intimidating. But when someone tells you, in your own space, read for me these lines, deliver it on camera. Because anyway, film is camera. So deliver it on camera, send it my way. And then I got a gig, and it's been 4 years of doing it now.
Your character on Single Kiasi is a very interesting character.
Yes.
One, how do people, are people able to separate MAINA and the character on Single Kiasi in terms of tabia?
I remember last year I was hosting an event at the UN, and you know, I'm in my suit, well cut. I'm chilling with these diplomats and ambassadors. And I remember when you're having lunch, one of them, he just came and he was looking at me. I was like, you know, I've been meaning to ask you, do you have a twin brother? Because he couldn't believe it's me. So he was just like, do you have a twin brother? Because there's this show that I watch. And he was so convinced it was not me. He was so convinced it was not me. There's a show that I watch, Single Kiasi. And I've been thinking, do you have a twin brother? And then I had to tell him, no, it's actually me. And he was so shocked. So there are people who genuinely, when they interact with me, they're like, wow, you're so different. And it's true, I am very different. What I do is very professional.
Yeah.
And it's just the art of me knowing how to tell the story of a character. But also what ends up happening is on my Instagram, now I have opportunities. Opportunities.
Lining themselves up.
Eh, yeah,
How do you deal with that?
there are people who, who don't know, like,
Boundaries.
it's like they know the difference, but also it's never wrong to sort of
Try.
put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So I've definitely gotten older women who have various offers and various proposals.
Older women.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
To be honest, I understand, because the character I play on TV on Single Kiasi is a young character who's a boy toy, or a toy boy, who just deals with older women for his survival and also love, right? So it does make sense. Normally I understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Because you have seen a character I've portrayed on TV, and so it's easy to assume it's the same guy. And especially when this guy still does poetry, you're like, oh my God, he is perfect. So previously I used to feel compelled to sort of clarify my position. But these days when I see those messages, I just ignore, to be honest. So there are times I'd go there and I'd see, because sometimes I also want to genuinely interact with my audience. So there are messages that I do respond to, messages that are inspiring me in a certain way. I want to see your perspective, messages of collaboration. But there are those that are just like, you know, putting themselves out there. I just laugh by myself and I'm just like, hey, cool story.
But your biggest audience is ladies.
80%.
What's
80%.
the craziest thing a lady has done?
Mugged me. No, there's a time I was working in CBD and I was in my AirPods, right? I was leaving the office when I was working as a journalist.
Yes.
And I was walking down, I think I was going to get lunch or something. So I think she had been trying to call me because she had seen me, like from the other side of the road.
Yeah.
It was around there, Stanley, you know, on the other side of the road. And I'm walking, and me, when I'm in public, you know, I just want to get where I'm going and hide. And so because because she realized that I couldn't hear her, literally trailed me, ran, and then from the back, just grabbed me. So you can imagine my fear of just knowing, this is it. Kevin MAINA, this is it. Now, all the experience, all the stories you've had, now you are a study case. And then I just froze, and then now she came in front of me and she was like, MAINA. And I had to remove, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I overreact, but I'm such a big fan. And that one is an experience I'll never forget. I almost peed my pants, literally just almost. Kidogo tu nijembaras. But yeah, that would be the craziest thing that I would say physically happened with. But also sometimes heavy emotions, you know. You meet with people, especially during my live shows. People, we actually, from the last one, we got a wellness partner, such that people can actually seek. There are people who genuinely just shake. The emotions can be overwhelming. Yeah, I've experienced that. We had a case on our last event. We actually had to take her backstage. It was not anything wrong. I think it was a combination of everything. So you're coming to experience a live poetry show. You're also interacting with a character live, with a character that you've been seeing online. Yeah. So also the themes that we cover on our shows are very heavy. You know, there's feelings of love. And for many people, it's just normal day living. Yeah. But for someone who has never been given an opportunity to express their emotions, so it's like you go to sort of like a place where you have people who think like you. You're allowed to feel the emotions that are being talked about. So it was overwhelming, and I've seen that in many cases where people just feel even she didn't know why she was crying. She did not know why she was acting that way. She just kept on saying, I'm overwhelmed with emotions. Like, this was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And she stayed there for a full hour. And we had someone who came, catered for her, and then she went. Oh, she's so much better.
Your biggest audience, the ladies.
Yeah.
Does it affect relationships you have been in, or a relationship you have been in?
To be honest, so far, not yet. And credit that to maybe people I've been involved in relationships, but also reassurance is everything for me. So drawing a clear line between this as something that I do for what I love, what I'm passionate about, but also work. There's things you cannot control, how the audience interacts with you,
Yeah.
but you can definitely control how you interact with the audience
Yes.
to set a precedence. So I'll say reassurance is everything for the person that I'm involved in at any particular time.
Yeah.
Whether it's my family, whether it's my siblings, whether it's my close friends, whether it's a partner that I'm involved in romantically, reassurance over everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last year, 2025, somewhere mid 2025, you started posting content about heartbreak. That umerudi soko.
Yes.
And I know for a fact you were in a relationship. Do you want to talk about what happened?
Obviously for the privacy of the person I was involved in,
Yeah.
maybe not talk about what happened. But yeah, I started creating the content that I was making simply because if you've noticed with my content creation journey, it has been also using the platforms to also discover myself.
Yeah.
So I'm not just giving, I'm also putting it out there. So I started creating the content because it was fun and interesting. And it was the first time I was feeling like I'm getting back to myself, because heartbreak, like any other heartbreak, whether you've lost a pet, whether you've lost a parent, whether it's losing a relationship physically, it takes a toll on you, right? Because it meant something to you. So I did take my time to go through the motions, but also I was now trying to rediscover. I think the biggest thing that I learned from being in a relationship is that my capacity to love is huge. Most people are afraid of the intensity of a romantic relationship because, first of all, are you deserving of love? And second, can you give as much as is required?
Yeah.
So for me, it taught me two things. Like, I have that in me. Like, I was like, tick, we know we can love. We know we are capable of being loved, and we have learned something about ourselves. So I started sharing the content in sort of interacting with my audience to help my audience help me. So a lot of it was the dates I was going to. And I would be like, wait, I've been out of the game for like 2 years. What changed, guys? Yani squeezy watu wanaishingi hivi. And the engagement on those pieces of content have been insane, because people are sharing their experiences, and suddenly it's become another research point for me. It's a content format that also offers research. So I'm seeing the dating pool in Nairobi, because when you're in love, when you're sharing pieces about love, you're sharing it from the context of your own love.
Yeah.
Until you hear people's stories out here and you realize, whoa, the dynamics of relationships are changing, they're different.
Yeah.
So we also really have to relate to the audience that is consuming what I'm going through. It's good to portray love as something that we can get to this standard, and I think that's what my content does. It tells people that this is a good standard of love. But sharing that for me was a way to also just cleanse my spirit, heal with the audience, but also create a format that allows people to talk about this.
Soko sahi inakupeleka aje?
Soko iko very well balanced. Ni chafu na ni safi all at the same time. So
your biggest shocker kwa soko?
My biggest shocker kwa soko is the fact that people get really cozy very early.
Oh, really? Uko unajua?
Watu wana hold hands first date. Hiyo ni normal.
Hiyo ni extreme.
Mimi hata kuni hug first date.
Oh, really?
Hey, tafadhali, take it
Personal
easy.
space.
Personal, hey, wacha nikujue tafadhali. Watu wako so cozy. Hey.
It's just a hand.
It is just a hand.
People do more.
People do more on the first.
Yeah. You're afraid of hands.
Well, that has been, to be honest, that in fact, the challenge for me, getting back, is pacing and making people know there's a difference between dating and being in a relationship. Dating is just, we are getting to know each other. Being in a committed relationships, now we are in it to see where it's going.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people confuse those two. They confuse the idea of intimacy and genuinely being in love. So there may be chemistry, but that does not mean that this is meant to be. It's just a green light to say there's something here.
Yeah.
So genuinely, when I tell you people take things too fast, I think that for me has been a shocker. Like, people are almost too eager to get into.
Is it because of your name? Do you think it has something to do with your name and who you are?
I don't think so, because also the people that I interact and let into my space are people that I have a sense, like I can definitely tell. I can differentiate between someone who's purely a fan.
Yeah.
And they don't even have feelings for me. It's just they're purely a fan. So when they're around me, they might be excited as if they are attracted to me, but I know they're not. And I can tell people who are genuinely, because I'm also forming relationships. At the end of being MAINA MIND, I'm also a human. So I can tell people who are genuinely curious about me. And so sometimes, yeah, there are times I would go on a date and I can tell, yeah, this is, I'm on a date with a fan. Huyu ataniambia ni perform in the next 2 minutes. In the next 2 minutes ataniambia perform. So yeah, so I think that for me that has been also a shocker, but also how the other flip side of it is how people are, they're not committing to simple things like plans. Someone is not committing to a plan. People
How?
say, communication here is crazy. People will say, let's do this at this time. Did mtu ana disappear.
Let's talk about midnight poetry.
Yes.
In poetry, apart from you, there's also, I know Goofy. Maybe there are
Goofy
others.
Docs, yes.
Yes. And last year, you released an album,
Yes.
Midnight Poetry.
Yes.
Let's talk about you even coming up with an album of poetry. Because Goofy also has an album.
Yes.
You're the two poets I know who have albums that are poetry.
Yes, yes.
And it's rare. Tell me how you came up with Midnight Poetry, the journey, and how it has been received so far.
Okay. Midnight Poetry was my debut poetry album. And when I was thinking about it, I think at the beginning of last year, I was thinking, what's the one thing I want to do differently? What's something that I can recreate that can live beyond me? And I think for me, my goal was publishing. And books have been suggested, but the way I write my poetry, it favors performance, right? So it's different from the literature of writing and you reading it. Maybe one day I'll do it. And so for me, it was publishing and ownership. I really wanted to get into, understand that scope of the, how do you split, how do you make money from this, but also how do you publish and have something that can give you sort of like credibility. It's like now doing a master's degree. You have practiced, now let me do a master's in this course to sort of show some credibility in the aspect of I have some knowledge in this line. So I picked some of my exclusive poems that I've been performing on my live shows. Some of the poems that I perform are only for the live shows. Put them together, got a team, we got a producer, featured some artists, Akina Kinoti, Shad Mziki. And then we got into studio and we recorded this 10 poetry album that we put together. And it was amazing. I didn't know Midnight Poetry would literally just set a precedence for the rest of my year.
Yeah.
So I started working on it. In fact, it was such a weird journey. I started working on it when I was in love. By the time I was finishing it, I was not in love. So in fact, the last poem that I added was about heartbreak.
Yeah.
And then we released it in July. We launched it with one of my partners who sponsored it. And then, from there it has been received so well. I did, last year alone, I think I did more than 5 performances.
Okay.
And a lot of them were calm. Literally, I was performing in spaces where poets would not ordinarily perform. I did my first live gig with a live band at Mapenzi Mbandaske, Limuru, Tigoni. And it was interesting to see people to discover. In fact, for me, it was the discovery of contemporary poetry. Like I was in a lineup where it was just artists.
Yeah.
And I was the only poetry lineup. And I was headlining at around 10 p.m. That means mumeskiza other artists akina Nubia, Shad, and then mimi niko hapo katikati. And it was so scary, but it was fun to see, even in a concert element, you can still have a poet who has a live band and is making the crowd go crazy.
That's beautiful.
So for me, it was a learning curve. It was like this, you could literally work on a project at the beginning of the year and it sets a precedence for everything. So even the live show that we had in October was literally the Midnight Poetry, was the culmination of the Midnight Poetry tour, because we are taking it in many other shows within Nairobi. And then it culminated to that. So yeah, it was a beautiful experience, well received. I was on many people's Wrapped experiences at the end of the year. So people were like, oh, this is the artist I streamed all year. This is the poem I loved all year, but also it was the feedback. So Midnight Poetry is a cocktail of every feeling. I didn't have a theme for it because I wanted to capture every season a person may be in. So there's grief, there's love, there's spicy time, there's discovery of self, everything packaged in one album. So yeah, go stream it everywhere.
Okay. On, no, that is 2025.
Yeah.
No, this is January 2026.
Yes.
What is your plan for the year? Should we expect another album? What are you working on? What should we expect?
2026, to be honest, it's looking up. We have something interesting that launches on February 14th. So everyone should be looking out for that. It's going to be a beautiful space that we are curating, working on right now. So from Valentine's, of course, we have something for you, and it's going to be there for like the next 10 weeks after.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful campaign that we are working on. But there are also many other things that MAINA MIND wants to do. We want to do an intimate poetry experience. Last year was, the theme for my last year was bold. Was a lot of bold, you know, spicy, you know, just getting out there,
Yeah.
unapologetically. And so a lot of the shows were very showbiz themed. You know, it was a lot of theatrics. I think this year I want to go back to my roots. I want to get back a little bit more intimate, candlelit experiences, you know, that bring people together. So there's going to be a lot of that. Hopefully, yeah, in the horizon, there's a project for maybe an EP or an album, definitely. And of course, a live experience, and just more content that, that feeds people. And of course, a lot of room for the year to surprise us.
Okay.
Because you cannot plan for everything.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you have to let the year surprise you in good ways and bad ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maina.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And answering my questions.
Of course.
I look forward to your 2026.
Me too. I look forward to your 2026.
It will be
I also-
amazing also.
I also look forward to my 2026. And yeah, hopefully we come here at the end of the year and say again, this is what we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And to you, our viewer, thank you so much for your time. Till next time, thank you. And to our shoot location of the day, Oro Restaurant along Nyangumi Road. We appreciate you, and you can always pass by for a meal. Thank you so much. Till next time, adios.